Starter for 10.
Good morning and welcome to Bookham Baptist Church. This is Starter for 10. My name's Liz Featherstone and I'm sitting here with Laura and Steve. Good morning. And we're going to start off, we're going to launch into a question that Steve's going to get us thinking about for this morning.
Okay, thanks, Liz. Yeah, the question for this week is, what are you doing or not doing for Lent? Shall I kick off with that one? Yeah, so doing or not doing, traditionally, Lent seems to be associated with giving stuff up. You know, might be giving up chocolate or giving up reading the newspaper or watching TV or something like that. But it's in more recent days, there's been more of an emphasis on what we embrace and what we do. So I'm just going to tell you about mine, and it's a bit of an unusual one, but I'm taking on a new discipline, which is at the weekends, making a list with my wife, Sarah, to actually think about what we want to get done during the weekend. And so you may actually have a picture coming up on your screen right now, which shows the list that we made this Saturday with a lit candle, because it's a very spiritual thing. I'm actually quite list averse as a rule. And so it's taken me many, many years of being married to Sarah to see the beauty of a list, helping me to get stuff done in a nice kind of beautiful weave of some work, some study, some stuff around the house, some fun stuff. And this is one of my Lent practices, a new discipline that I'm trying to get into.
Oh, I love things
Laura.
like that.
Yeah, I was going to
right
say,
up my
list
street.
queen.
I am the list queen.
What about you and Lent?
So for me, to be honest, I didn't clock that it was coming. And despite the love of pancakes. But happily, because in previous years I'd signed up to the Tier Fund devotionals, they popped into my inbox on Ash Wednesday. And it was just a little beacon of light. And for me, that's been so lovely each day. They're short, really accessible and brilliant. And so I thought it would be lovely to share a poem. This week's devotional, or today's devotional, is about hope, acknowledging the situation in the world. So I'll just share that with you. And hopefully that brings you some hope. So the poem is called A New Light Arrives. Buried in the night, anxious thoughts crowded darkly around me. The last thing I expect is a miracle. The last thing I anticipate is God riding the dawn. But then, like the only answer we ever need, a new light arrives, splashing grace paint on the worn-out canvas of my heart. And all of a sudden, hope is running along the tops of the trees, wild-eyed and rampant. And that just brought hope this morning. So if you're after a powerful thing to start doing in Lent, maybe drop into the Tier Fund website and see if you can subscribe. Talking of dropping in, if anyone is online, please do drop any comments. What are you doing for Lent? What are you not doing for Lent? What are you stopping or starting? And it'll be great to pick up your comments and feed them into here.
Thank you. Do you know what? I might do that because I'm one of those people that finds, the rigid structure of life quite a challenge. I love that concept of grace paint, painting with grace paint, because I've often one of those things where I try something and then I don't manage to follow it through, and then I feel really bad, and then I get cross with myself, which is just the amazing story of faith, isn't it? That we believe in a God who continually accepts us and he's never disappointed in us, and I just love that about who God is. So I might well take up that Tier Fund, but not beat myself over the head if I don't manage it every day.
Well, exactly. Yeah. That's the trick.
Thank you. We're going to go into a song which Steve's going to introduce for us now that will help us just mull on these things more.
Okay, this is a song called It Is Well, and it's brought to us by Izzy and Stefan. And it's really beautiful. It's a song just to sink into and let it kind of minister to your soul.
Grander earth has quaked before, moved by the sound of his voice. Seas that I'm shaken and stirred can be calmed and broken from my rain. Through it all, it all, it is well. Through it all, my eyes are on you, and it is well with me. Far be it for me to not believe, even when my eyes can't see. And this mountain that's in front of me will be thrown into the midst of the sea. Through it all, my eyes are on you. Through it all, it is well. Through it all, my eyes are on you, and it is well. It is well. So let go, my soul, and trust in Him. The waves and wind still know His name. So let go, my soul, and trust in Him. The waves and wind still know His name. So let go, my soul, and trust in Him. The waves and wind still know His name. So let go, my soul, and trust in Him. The waves and wind still know His name. The waves and wind still know His name. The waves and wind still know His name. It is well with my soul. It is well with my soul. It is well with my soul. It is well. It is well with my soul. It is well with my soul. It is well So let go, my soul, and trust in Him. The waves and winds still know His name. The waves and winds still know His name. The waves and winds still know His name.
What a powerful song.
I know, it really touches your heart, doesn't
It
it?
really does. I think we're all needing space to reflect at this time, aren't we, of just taking a breath and acknowledging what's going on, as well as, finding God. Has there been response on the chat? Please share.
Yes, indeed. So we've had a few people sharing. Thank you so much. It's always really great when you do. So Lauren has shared with us that she is making a choice to give up some of the sweeter things and making some healthier choices, which I think is always good, isn't it? And speaks to the fact that God has made our bodies, He is our creator, and we can worship Him with looking after our bodies. So, Lauren, with you on that, thank you so much for sharing. Jenny is focusing her readings around some of the Psalms and centering on Ukraine and what's happening. And as Liz has said, that's so pertinent at the moment. So thank you for sharing, Jenny. And then Barbara has shared a really great resource. It's a Henry Newen Lent book club online, and there's a link to it on their website, and they're working some things through as a small group, which sounds really nice to do as a group and would help everyone stay motivated. So for those who want to do it as a group, great idea. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. We're going to hand over to Steve, and he's going to give us a little taster of what he's going to be bringing later in our 10:30 service. So over to you, Steve.
Thanks, Liz, very much. So we've been thinking about Lent, and then most people have an idea about Lent, and often, as I say, associate it with giving something up for a period of 40 days. But where did Lent come from? It actually goes right back to a story in the Bible, a story about Jesus, where after his baptism, he is driven into a desert place by the Spirit that has come upon him, the Holy Spirit. And he spends 40 days there without food. And it says at the end of the 40 days of not eating, he's famished, which is no surprise, really. But it is a reminder, an important reminder, that Jesus was as human as we are, is as human as we are, fully human. He's not God incognito, kind of putting on some kind of show, but actually he really knows about our humanity. He is human, and so he's hungry. We also learn in this story that Jesus is tempted. He's tempted by the devil, and there are 3 temptations that come to him. One of them about the temptation to turn stone into bread so that he could end his fast. Another about falling down to worship Satan in return for power and authority in the world, all the kingdoms of the world, all their authority being given to Jesus. That's one that's really stood out for me this week, as we've seen that kind of terrible power exerted in the world. We've seen that kind of rapacious, just a self-serving power that has just been unleashed. And it's at this time I found myself thinking about just how that contrasts with the way of Jesus, that he's holding on to in the wilderness. Jesus' power is held out to him, and he's committed to another way. And Lent is a time when we can discover that way for ourselves. The third temptation is to do something spectacular. Jesus is taken high up onto a temple, and he's kind of goaded to jump on the understanding that God will look after you, and to kind of fall from the sky and land like a Marvel superhero in that pose that's quite familiar to lots of people nowadays. And Jesus isn't having any of that either, because he's not come to create a spectacle, to do the popular thing. He's come to bring good news and healing to the world. And so there's a lot going on in there. But this 40 days that Jesus spent gives us the context for the 40 days that we can spend as we approach Easter, the cross and the resurrection of Jesus at Easter. And it's a time when we can discover more clearly, or know more clearly, the way of Jesus and give ourselves to it. It's about our formation. It's about our growing up as followers of Jesus. So more about that later on.
Looking forward to hearing more about that, Steve. Thank you. Just before we log off this morning, Laura, is there anything else you'd like to share from our online family?
No, I think that's fine. They've given us their comments, and we don't have any new ones to share. So I think maybe everyone's gearing up for the service.
Wonderful. Well, really looking forward to seeing you. We're gathering at 10:30, so if you've got links to Zoom, wonderful to see you there. And if not, it will be on YouTube for the sermon just gone at 11. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Thank you, Laura and Steve, and see you all soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.